Park, my favorite deal of this year. So, Jane, what was your compensation on that deal? More or less, I mean, if you're at $10,000 out there.
$80,000.
$80,000.
What about me?
I'm better looking than you are, Matt.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she doesn't like Mexican food.
Oh my gosh.
It takes too long to get your loans.
So, you can make some money if you don't. And here's the deal on that one. Jane is an experienced investor. She holds rentals. She flips property. She does all kinds of things. I've actually wholesaled back to Jane a couple times, haven't I, in the last few months?
Yep.
Okay? But every now and then, we get too many properties. So most of us that are doing anything, we will wholesale and we get full up. Will you wholesale, Sean? Absolutely. Somebody asked me how many deals I do at a time. 4 to 5 rehabs is pretty good. 8, I'm going freaking nuts. Okay, so I like to bring in enough property that I can spend some of those off as a wholesale to other investors. And so this is something you need to look at. Here is what you need. Number 1, to be a wholesaler, you need to know who your market is, who you're going to sell to. All right? Who wants property? Every hand should be going up. All right? Everybody wants property. Pick 5. Okay? Typically, when something comes in and the numbers work, it is gone by the time I walk from my desk to the front of the office to say, hey, send an email out on this one, because some investor will walk in. And they'll say, hey, have you got anything? Why? As a matter of fact, I do. And that's what Jane did to me last time. I had a wholesale. She said, you got anything, Randall? And I said, as a matter of fact, I do. You know, and it just came in. So know who your buyers are, all right? I'm going to break this down in pretty simple deals. Mostly because I've been asked this a lot in the last week and even tonight. What do I do if I don't have a lot of money and I want to get going? Okay? I want to make $50,000 in my spare time. So you know who your buyers are. Okay. Number 2, all right? Second thing you're going to do is you're going to have to select an area. We're going to call it area. I'm going to make this simple. That's the geographical, it's a mapped area, all right? And this is if you want to systemize your wholesale. This works out pretty good if you could say in this area, the remodeled value, price per square foot is $160 a foot, all right? So we've had a number of us, me, Matt Snade, 3 or 4 other investors, we went through and back tested our deals. Because we used to give you the old formula, which was 80% of the ARV after repaired value minus repair costs equals the beginning of a good deal. What is the weakness with that? Who said it? Say it loud. Shout it out. You don't know the repair costs. I'd have guys trying to sell me wholesale. Randall, I've got a deal. It's worth $200,000. You know, fixed up to $200,000. I could let you have it for $150,000, and it only needs $8,000 in repairs. Okay, I've done hundreds and hundreds of remodels. Ones I've done for less than $20,000, I can count on the fingers of one hand. You know, in the last 6 years. Okay, and usually like a year old or recently remodeled. So what we did is we said, all right, we need a spread. Our basic spread is $40 a foot is where it starts out. If the house doesn't need a lot, if it's good, the house is in good condition. All right, I want to see a minimum of $40 per square foot difference between my remodel value of $160 and what I buy it for. So what's 160 minus 40, Matt, is the math wizard?
160 minus 40 is 120.
Okay, 120. So that's the highest I'm going to pay for property in good condition. If it is, I'm going to call it middle condition, so instead of good condition is probably $20,000 remodel. Middle condition is going to be like $50,000, all right? I'm going to want to see a $50 spread. Okay? And if it's going to be a big one, that you go in, I looked at one the other day. I guess well, Matt, you guys that won the Coatesville, that's a big one. So,
Thank you.
It's probably looking really good right now.
Yeah.
But
Painting tomorrow.
you know what's tomorrow?
Painting tomorrow.
Awesome. So this is one where you needed foundation, wall support, roof, structure, all kinds of stuff. So a big one like that, I'm gonna wanna see probably,
Nice.
70 to, $90 a foot spread, all right? Between those. So you're running off of this number. This is the after repair value for that area. So if I was gonna take this area, I could take an area like 9th South to 21st South, 3rd East to 7th East. I know that I can get $140 to $150 a foot on houses that are 2,000 feet or less in that area. Okay? So I might go through that area, look at all the beat up houses, look at all the ones that aren't good, go on the county recorder, go to Data Quick or somebody else, and find out who's not living in their homes, out of town owners, and start sending mailers to them. Okay? All the hammered houses, that's great. Go knock the doors, start sending letters out to the owners of this property, and keep doing it. All right? Then I'm going to make my deal. So let's say the house is in good condition right there. So I know that I want to make some money. If Sean is only going to buy with a $40 spread, Sean's buying at $120, where's my profit come from? Okay? I've got to purchase this house at $110, $115, etc. Okay? My spread comes below what my buyer is willing to buy at. So that's why it's important. And you can wholesale to anybody. Sometimes it makes sense to put it out there in email to 1,000 people. Dustin does a great job of putting stuff out to a lot of people. But typically, it makes it a little easier if you're working with a handful of people, say 4 or 5 or 3 to 5, and you know what they're looking for in a property. Okay? Maybe there's somebody that is good with a $30 spread. Now, it's easy to do that. Take your yellow pad, that's all you need, it's as technical as you need to get, and say, Randall is good, wants to see a minimum of $40 spread. Boom. Matt wants a $30 spread, Sean wants a $50 spread, etc. Take 5 guys that are real, that are putting property out. Did I say hand up? No? Yes.
Sorry to interrupt real quick. So in other words, if you're buying 120 square foot, would you subtract, let's say for example it's a middle road rehab, so you subtract out $50, and if you wanted to add $10,000, you just factor that in, so you'd actually be at $60 a square foot?
Yeah, that's what you're doing. And what it does is, it's just, I've gone through it, just doesn't matter. I don't care what style the house is, I don't care about gross living area, which is, above grade, it doesn't matter. People tell you that it matters, appraisers, agents, it doesn't matter. I go through and look at hundreds of deals, this works, okay? This is simple. So I can show you the other way to do it. We're going to go with simple first. Everybody okay with simple? And anybody that wants to have it a little bit harder, send me an email. Yes? Total square foot. I don't care about upstairs, downstairs, anything. Total square foot, but it's got to be like to like. What do I mean like to like? Rambler, 2-story bungalow, whatever it is, Actually, you could typically throw bunk cots and ramblers together. Josh isn't in here, I haven't talked about that. But it's going to be like to like. That's what you're looking for, is that spread. Okay? So once you figured out your buyers and what they want, you figured out an area. Okay? And this can grow later on, but start out with an area. Start out with somewhere that you can go in there and get to know that area and say, if you're in Ogden, there's probably certain areas. Sean, what's the price that you would pay in Ogden for? You've done a lot of deals up there. I love Ogden. What is,
I don't have a top limit. I'll pay anything, any price to get me the terms.
All right, the terms is good. All right. But if you're going to do a flip it, or somebody came and said, I've got a house at $15 a foot, is that a deal?
Sure. Ogden doesn't flip, but yeah, I'd have to get it really cheap. Like $20 a foot.
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
That's good. I understand. That's good. And every market's different. Okay. So there you go. If you got $20 a foot, you can move it to Sean.
Maybe.
But here's Ogden is an awesome place. Forbes magazine, 8th best place in America. Outdoor living, 3rd best place in America to live. It's a great place. People just haven't discovered it yet in Utah. So, okay, so we've got our buyers, we've got our area. All right. The third thing you're going to have to do is go out and you're going to have to start contacting. Okay. I might be able to spell that right. All right. You have to make contact. Now, Now, face-to-face is always better than phone, mail, internet ads, etc. And I've got deals from every conceivable way I can think of. I've run, web pages, I've done Google AdWords, I've done thousands of mailers, phone calls, networking, etc. But you're going to have to start making contact with people. All right. Now, when you're making contact with a bird dog, somebody who's helping you out, right?
Yeah.
And how did you make contact with him? He's a friend. And you let him know what you were looking at, right? Okay, so part of what you're doing is you're letting people know, I buy houses. All right? Because you buy houses, right? Everybody in this room will buy a house. I don't care if you got a bank loan, I don't care if you got hard money, you'll buy a house. In the right terms, the right price. If I have a house for $1, is there anybody here that wouldn't take it? It's not on the Superfund side. No? Nobody. Everybody will take a house. We all buy houses, all right? So let people know. Get out there, knock doors, put mailers out, put flyers out. Door hangers, perfect, This is awesome. All right? Networking, all of those things. I love Sean. Okay? Make contact. All right. What is the goal of all of your contacting, all of your marketing? What is the marketing goal?
Close the deal.
Close the deal. That's funny, I took CE. CE is useless. If you're an agent or broker, I'm sorry if you think CE is good, but if you get CE credit for it, it's useless. All right? So, it's just, one of those things you just go put your time in so you can get your license renewed every year, but it's freaking useless. So, yesterday I was doing my CE because I got the end of the year coming up, and it said, all marketing is designed to what? A, get an appointment. B, close the deal. C, sell a property, etc. Well, I said, close the deal. And I got the answer wrong. I had to go back in. It said, you want to try that again? So I had to go back, and it was make an appointment. All marketing is designed to make an appointment. Like I said, I'll see if it's approved by the state, it's useless. I've never seen anything that's any good. But that's what it's designed for. Your marketing is designed to get you in front of somebody that you can close the deal with. What good is it going to do if you have 100 meetings, 100 contacts with somebody and you never close the deal? It's not very good, is it? Okay. So that's really, really important. Sean, what's your favorite way to make contact with potential sellers? Top 3 favorite ways.
Favorite way obviously is face-to-face, any way I can get in there. Second way is over the phone, and my least favorite way is some kind of electronic media, by text or by phone or by email.
Okay, perfect. Now, occasionally, here's something you can do. If you've got somebody, that there's this house that's kind of run down, it might be vacant. If you show me 10 landlords, I'll show you 7 motivated sellers.
Only 7?
Probably than 9. I was counting 3 of the sellers in the year, so 3 of our landlords in the year. But there's ways to get out there and do that. Facebook. Go out there and look for somebody on Facebook. If you know what their name is, look them up on Facebook. Because you can send a message to anybody on Facebook, can't you? It's pretty simple. We've had deals before where we couldn't find anybody and try to skip chase them, etc. And then all of a sudden on Facebook, you run into them. So Facebook is really useful. All right, so you've made these people, a meeting with these people, and you're 4, I'm going to say close the deal. All right. Here's the deal. And I'm going to nutshell this because I don't want how many minutes do I have. I don't know where we're Sean. Okay. All right. Close the deal. All right. Close the deal. You want some paperwork. You got to sign something because this is real property. In order for any kind of a contract to be valid, it has to be in what? It has to be in writing. Okay. So the statute frauds, a bunch of other crap. Now, to be honest, if you put something under contract and they try to back out, you can try to keep them in the deal, tell them that they're not honoring their words, that you can sue them, etc. But I don't really ever do that. I just walk away and find the next deal. But you got to close the deal. If you close that deal, there are all kinds of forms out there that are freaking awesome. You could go pay somebody for the special buyer's packet or the special seller's packet where everything is, in your favor. It's either the buyer or the seller. Forget about that. Don't waste your money. Okay? What you're going to want to do is use the state-approved form. And that's called the real estate purchase contract or REPC. And the reason I say this is, like Sean, I've done deals in different states, and it seems like everybody has a friend or a relative that's a real estate agent. Is there anybody in here that does not have a friend or relative that's a real estate agent? Okay? So, you don't have any friends that are agents?
I don't have any friends.
Yeah, all right. So what happens is if you show up with some slick paperwork that looks, strange, that some real estate attorney who's looking to make a bunch of money has drawn up for you or is selling for $19.95, what's every one of those friends and relatives going to do? They're going to try and kill your deal. All right? It's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to look at that and say, I've never seen anything like that. Unless they're sitting in this room, most realtors aren't all that imaginative. Okay? So, it's just, it's a fact. And they're going to look at that and say, I don't recognize that. So what you want to do is use the real estate purchase contract and addendum. Let's see if Sean's got any cool things up there. All right. You're going to use an addendum. On the addendum, you're going to put whatever it is that you want. Okay? You're going to put down where the earnest money is going to be held. I'd say hold the earnest money at a title company. Make sure you've got some good escrow instructions, but at least you have a good chance of getting your money back if the deal goes south. You might have to file a little bit more, but it's a pretty good way to do it. So put whatever you want in an addendum. And here's something really useful too. I'll just tell you what it is. If you look at my website, I should have this up pretty quick. I think tomorrow I just got a call or a text from my programmer. But you want some language in there to what? Assign the contract. Okay? Because that's what we're doing. We're signing the contract as a wholesaler. Even if I'm not going to wholesale a property, I want language in there to sign the contract, just in case. Okay? That makes sense. So I don't want to use the approved MLS real estate forms as an agent. So as an agent, I'm supposed to use those unless I'm the principal of the transaction. Then I have my attorney bless the form or bless whatever it is I want to do, unless I write it in as an addendum. So I mix the seller assignment form, and I write it in as the language in an addendum. And here's what I'm going to write. Okay? I'm going to write that the buyer has the right to assign this contract to another buyer without further approval or consideration or notification to or from the seller. The seller should reasonably expect to close this transaction with somebody other than the original buyer. Okay? If you do that, I don't have to go in and get a signature from the seller to sign the contract. If I use the standard forms, then I do. All right? So I'm looking out for my interests and I'm looking out for the buyer's interests. And the seller shouldn't really care if they made a deal, as long as somebody's coming through and carrying through on their deal, you're good. Yes? Can I repeat that? Okay. I'll try and get it fairly exact. Basically, you're going to put something down to the effect that says that the buyer has the right to assign the contract to another purchaser without further consideration or notification to or from to the seller. Okay. So you're able to assign that contract without further notification to the seller. And then the seller should reasonably expect to close with somebody other than the original purchaser. Okay? And it's just pretty simple. You don't have to get a lot of legalese in there. Put it straightforward, make it simple, get it done. Okay? Every contract, if you look at Section 19, allows you to put it into an LLC, a trust, whatever form you want, without any of this fancy language. But as wholesalers, we're typically putting it into something other than our trust, our LLC, our corporation essentially want to assign this to somebody else. So that's what you want to do, is make sure that you get a signature on there. You're going to want to make sure that in your addendum it says that you're going to assign the property, and you're going to sell it to somebody else without further notification to the seller. Yes?
Randall, if you're working with an assistant agent who requires you to use a registered contract, can you just go ahead and attach that addendum that you got on the...
Yes. Yeah, your agent has to do what you want to do. You know, if you tell me, if I'm your agent, you say, these are the offers that I want to make, and I want to make them on yellow pages, then that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so we got this over here. And the next thing, number 5, this is important, is agents always know that we want to protect the earnest money, right? So what we want to do is we want to protect the money, and I'm going to learn how to do the cool things that you do with your iPad. Yeah.
You gotta get one first.
I got one right there. I just don't know how to use it. It makes a great Kindle. So you're going to protect the earnest money. And what you're going to do to protect the earnest money is you're going to have a due diligence period or an inspection period. You want that to be as long as you can get away with it. Some people want to close in a week, so it might be a week. It might be 3 days. I always say shoot for 2 weeks. All right? Protect your earnest money by putting a due diligence period in there of 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks time period, you should be able to find a buyer. You should be able to find a buyer. You're going to call me. I'm going to go look through the property and say, okay, yeah, it looks like it needs this repairs. This is what I can pay for it. Boom. Okay? This is what I'll pay for this property. If you talk to 5 buyers in 2 weeks and nobody is interested in this as a wholesale, there's 2 things. One is your buyer's list is bad, and those guys are not really doing any deals, or more probably, you're paying too much for the property. Okay? So this is your chance. You can go back and either cancel the contract and get your earnest money back, or you can say, hey, let's renegotiate. You know, I've had,
Due diligence deadline 12B.
perfect, due diligence 24B. Perfect. So that's where it's at, and it's awesome. In fact, you'll be happy to probably send that to anybody that gives you the reading on that. So what you're going to do is negotiate a price, get the price down to where it works for you and works for your buyers. Okay, it gives you a second negotiation. But that's important. That's all it takes. Those are 5 steps. It's pretty simple here. I can go into further detail. I will on my website. I just spent 2 hours going over some of that stuff today with a video camera and a glass of water. But this is what it takes. If you want to make $50,000 a year, get some buyers. Figure out who your buyers are, or who's your market. Figure your area out. Maybe it's the whole city. You know, I don't know, whatever you're comfortable with, learn that area, figure that out, figure what's going on. Start contacting people that are in your target area. The people you're contacting have to be motivated. You'll never do a real estate transaction that's good unless you have a motivated seller. Okay? So they got to be motivated. Close the deal, use the state-approved forms, real estate purchase contract, and addendum, put your language in there. And everybody likes to use all of the point-and-click stuff on the MLS, but it really isn't the best stuff for most deals. It's great if you're McDonald's. If it's a standard, I'm going to buy this property or sell this property, and it's a standard buyer or seller, it's great, but for investing, not so good. And then make sure that you protect your money and give yourself enough time to assign your transaction. All right? How much time did you have? You have quite a bit of time on that property that we're buying. It was like 30 days, something like that? Yeah, it was like 15 days, okay. And so, he protected us. You put $1,000 down on that one, is that correct? Josh's, okay, I put it. Well, see, that's an even better deal. I got the buyers, us, to put down $1,000 on it, all right? I'm glad you were protecting our earnest money. Awesome. So, basically, that's what you're looking at. During a 15-day period, you're getting somebody to get in there and figure out if they want the property and do whatever you're going to need to do. And actually, you can say that you're not going to put the earnest money down until you finish your due diligence period. That's fine, too. I might offer to put $5,000 down as earnest money once that I've gone past my due diligence period. Because they're gonna focus on what? $5,000, not the 15 days due diligence. They're gonna focus on the $5,000. And if it's a good deal, $5,000, what do I care? I'm gonna purchase the property. Okay, I don't have time for any questions, I'm sorry. I hope that was useful. I'm gonna turn the mic back over to Sean.
Thanks, Randall.
Man. We have time for our last sponsor of the night before we have